What up, Gotham Guardians and Arkham Adversaries? It's your boy Train as Wonder Wife Sarah. Believe the hype when it comes to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. We're gonna do a non-spoiler review, so don't worry about that. They have nailed it. I remember watching the first movie. It is phenomenal. It was a masterpiece then. And this one, I was like, how are they gonna do it better?
Right, how are they gonna top the first one?
How are they gonna top the first one?
It's super rare that the second movie would be as good, if not better, than the first movie in a franchise.
And
they nailed it.
Yeah, this is what that movie does. It takes you right back to what made the first one great, which was the animation. Mm-hmm. The fact that it really feels like you're reading a motion comic book is like so cool. And I love this idea of them with the multiverse and having different styles of arts. It kind of reminded me of Star Wars Visions, where different studios got to have their own story that was in their
different
style.
Animation,
yeah,
right.
Their style of animation, and it worked incredibly in this movie. Their ability in terms of characters, they were able to give a lot of people, especially it's a large cast, their shining moments, to Miles Morales, to Gwen Stacy especially, to even Miguel O'Hara, like Spider-Man 2099. Like, It was just everyone. Like, even the captain, Miles' dad, and the mom, like, they had all these like wonderful moments.
You really connect with their characters in this movie.
Oh, absolutely. It surprises the hell out of me that this movie isn't controversial in a way, because I heard a quote once about describing different types of superhero movies. There's ones that are made for general audiences, and then there's ones that are deconstructions of the superhero genre, something that you haven't really seen before. And now films, I tend to really enjoy the deconstruction films, and these types of films are like Watchmen, Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition. These are films that really deconstruct the superhero genre, gave us something that was like very not what you would expect, where the good guys are all good, you know, and that their motives are perfect, and you're gonna root for the good guys and happy ending. And with this movie, it asks a question. Like I said, I won't spoil it. It asks a question of our heroes, of all of our Spider-Men, Spider-Women, Spider creatures.
The SpiderVerse.
The SpiderVerse. It's a question that is so simple, but the answer can be so complex and complicated. It takes a turn that, like, maybe you don't look at everyone as being all good doesn't mean black and white. There's a lot of gray and complexity there. And it's that decision of, when is a time that you give up for the greater good, or do you always fight for what's right, even though it may end up not for the greater good?
Right, really makes you think about it. I mean, it's very, for an animated movie, it's very deep.
It is so deep. And obviously they have all these moments, like, from an honest review of a DC fan, right? As someone who's not well versed in Marvel comics, I do know Spider-Man fairly well. Even as a intermediate Spider-Man fan, there was a lot I was able to catch of nostalgic cameos. You do get things from old Sony movies. I won't say what, but you even get stuff from video games and TV shows and animated series. Obviously, the Spider-Verse, right? And I feel like that was a moment that Spider-Man fans could really enjoy. And if you weren't a Spider-Man fan, you were probably looking around like, why are people jumping out of their seats? You even kind of
right. There was one scene where you, like, I think that's another reason why you really like this movie, because it surprised you.
Yeah.
And not a lot of movies can do that.
No, not really. No.
But there was that one scene, and I was like, not understanding, and so you explained it to me afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
That makes sense
so
why you're going nuts.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, that's like, you have no idea who that is. But it was like one of those scenes. There's so many great implications of what this movie builds out. They go to a place that you're just like, I can't believe Marvel and Sony were able to like pull this off and like work together. It's like really a beauty of two studios that just somehow had the perfect formula and
they
influences.
Made a perfect baby.
They made a perfect baby. This is a movie I would love to rewatch again and again.
Oh, yeah.
And again, because it's so complex. Would you agree? Is it rewatchable?
Absolutely. Part of me wants to go back and watch it again just to see if there's things that I missed, because there was so much going on in the movie.
Yeah, I'm sure you could watch it like 30 times.
And catch something new.
And that's another reason why I love this film, right? It's a deconstruction of the superhero genre. And to this day, I can still rewatch Batman v Superman again and catch a new detail of a deep metaphor that I didn't think about. And I think a film that creates people to have like conversations and you will talk about it weeks, years after the film has come out, that's a movie that to me is worthy of masterpiece level, which...
So your score?
Yeah. It's a masterpiece of a film. The first movie, I think I rated the first movie like a 9.5.
I think so.
I was so caught off guard in like how they went so deep into like the comic bookness of it and just like nailed the story for me because it had strong emotional moments. It pulled you in all these directions that I was like, oh, this is a great animated. You don't expect this from an animated movie. This movie, once again, they did something that I did not expect, because you think animated must be for kids, right?
You got a problem with cartoons? Did that feel like a cartoon?
This was so deep, and for that very reason, I liked it a little more than the first movie. So I'm like a 9.6 out of 10, maybe even 9.7.
That makes sense for you. I'd probably put it right at a 9.5 because I think I enjoyed it as much as the first one.
Okay.
I don't know, I would say more than the first one. But we'll definitely have to watch them all when they come out and then do like a full review.
Yeah, there is not a post-credit in this movie. There's the one criticism of why like people are like, well, Trey, if you're like so in love,
masterpiece.
If you're so in love with this film, why is it like not a 9.8, 9.9 with like the other superhero films that like, or Jurassic Park, which I consider like one of the perfect films, and Jaws is a perfect film. Why wouldn't you give something similar to that? My only reason for that is the ending. The ending felt long. Like you kept thinking, okay, clear, like there's going to be another film,
right? Like you're anticipating the end, and then it's not over, and then okay, now they're going to end it. Nope, just kidding. Okay, now they're going to end it.
They kept like you knew it was going to end on a cliffhanger because it's part one, and they're they already announced that there's going to be another one. So I kept thinking, okay, they're going to leave us on a cliffhanger here, and then there was like, well, this feels like a cliffhanger. And they're still going. Okay, right. They're doing another cliffhanger, and it was like, where are they going with this? Like, are they really gonna like end this movie on a happy note and like resolute everything? And no, it was just like cliffhanger, just like.
And then when like one big one at the end, and then they're like, oh,
huge
nope, that's where it ends.
Huge one at the end, which is also another deep conversation. But for that reason, it just felt like a part of me wonders if it was just too long of an ending. But I don't know if that was just personal preference. But still, nonetheless, a phenomenal film. Go watch it in theaters. Dolby was honestly, as weird as it sounds, I liked Spider-Man Across the SpiderVerse in Dolby better than the Transformers film.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would agree with that. I think the Transformers film could have done more with Dolby, but knowing that they were going to be in other theaters that aren't Dolby, it made sense the way that they did those sound effects and whatnot. But
I heard there was rumors about like people having issues with hearing some of the dialogue, and we were in one of those showings too. The very beginning with Gwen Stacy, I couldn't understand or hear a single word she had said for like her first 5 lines. Mm-hmm. It didn't ruin my enjoyment of it. Obviously, I still loved it. Great movie. I almost worry about the third movie because it's like, okay, you made
how are they going to top it now?
How are they going to top that? Because to me, it's like the question that they asked in this movie is so perfect of a question that I don't know if the answer that they're going to have to provide in the third movie is going to satisfy what the question was.
Right. So you want to know my theory?
Sure.
I think they're not going to fully answer that question.
You think they're going to leave it up to the audience?
I think they're going to leave it up to the audience in true Sony Marvel form.
Why not? And you know what? Maybe that's the smart decision, is to leave it up to the audience to decide what you would do.
Right.
You know, if you were in their position, what decision would you make?
It's going to inspire. It's certainly going to inspire.
Yeah, and a movie that we'll continue to talk about. Can't wait for the third movie. Just absolutely amazing. Let me know in the comments of what you guys thought of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I would love to see what your score is. If you do want to talk about the question, or, you know, the kind of the theme that really leaves off with the third movie of what's going to be the motive. If you guys want to discuss it, just make sure you say spoiler warning, and I'd be happy to have the conversation with you guys in the comments, because I see this as a film that I'm going to discuss for a very long time. I can't wait to chat with my fellow nerds about, because it was just phenomenal. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really do appreciate it. Make sure to smash that like, share this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. I'm your host Trey with his wonder wife Sarah, and don't forget to tune in weekly.
Same bad time,
same bad channel.